Good morning. Welcome to Just for Today, a time of eclectic reading, meditation, sharing of perspectives, and prayer. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader at the newly joined Centers of Spiritual Living of Columbia and Greater Baltimore. Today is June 20th. This is a pre-recorded session because it is 5:30 in the morning right now, and I have an appointment today at 10 o'clock, so I'm pre-recording this so that I can still bring you this offering in the time slot promised. So this morning, what caught my attention was this book, The Shadows of the Mind by Tom Johnson. And as I opened it up, literally this fell out of the book. So I'm just going to go with that. People are always saying to us, I love you. In reality, they are saying, please love me. They are saying this in one way or another, regardless of what the outer projection may seem to be. If we hear something else, then we are hearing something from within our own consciousness. We are imposing we are imposing upon ourself an interpretation. We are projecting ourself upon them, and this projection is a shadow of our own consciousness. Does it not seem ridiculous to react to a shadow, to an illusion, to something within our own self that we believe to be out there? Hmm. This whole oneness, wholeness, everyone is me, there's no separate me and you, everything is a reflection of me. Um, I think it's a complex thing for us to wrap our human head around. Because and even in metaphysics, even in science of mind, we have, I believe, mistakenly taught it with varying degrees of rugged individualism, which really amounts to separation, which empowers that idea of something outside of me. Um, when I understand the reality of a spiritual self, then I begin to understand that there's just self, not myself or yourself, but just a self, and that self is the animation of the one experiencing itself in the multiplicity of form of how it expresses. Um, and I'll own that it is more than a little challenging to work with my brain to get past the idea of a separate self, to even play in the concept of self. That everywhere I look, everywhere the human me looks, every experience the human me has is the divine self, is the reality self, is the actual self, is the authentic self experiencing itself. And so everything, every body, every moment, every breath must be a reflection of that, a mirror of that. And so it's actually not outside of us, but rather reflecting an expression of the divine self, of the singular self that all life is. Um, it is a mental wrestling match, and I think it's appropriate to own that. I think it's healthy to own that. And I invite you to own it without any guilt, shame, or blame. To really, I invite you to refrain from shoulding on yourself about how you should have it now. You should. It's a journey. It's a journey, and we're all taking it together. We are on a one journey, different paths. And interestingly enough, one starting point, one ending point, many paths to lead there and get there. So, with that, we're going to go into our time of meditation and contemplation, and then I will close us out with a prayer. Okay, here we go. So, in this moment, I recognize again the presence, the power, the existence, the isness, the allness of one. One power, one presence, one omniscience, one omnipresence, one, everywhere present, one source that is the substance of all creation, expressing itself in the multiplicity of form, no two expressions of itself alike, expanding itself, expanding its experience of itself as all of creation. Known by many names, it can never be encompassed or limited by a name. And so in this moment, I simply recognize that it is. And I recognize that I am that in form, and that what is true of me is true of all creation expressed in form. And so I claim and affirm that as I move through this day, as each of us move through this day, as the self moves through this day, the self recognizes the self recognizes the reflection of itself in each expression of itself. That we be the love that we are, each individualized expression, loving the self as every expression, to every expression, with every expression. That I move through this day with a level of conscious awareness, intentional awareness, that there is no separation, and that I live into a greater experience of that. Grateful to know that it's already done. Grateful to know that the activity of law moves upon the idea, makes the desires of the divine self so immediately. And so it's already done. And so I can move through this human journey of what is in the full faith and security that the activity of law has already made it so. And so there is no thing for the human me, the separate me, to do, and I can release that idea. I can release that resistant thought. I can release that lie of separation. And so I do. Ashe, Aho, Amin, Amen. And so it is. Namaste.